Hey guys, we're here playing Blue Sun Glacier up against, don't know yet, Gabriel. Alright, this hand is pretty respectable. Got some ice, got no agendas, got some ETRs. I like it. Probably want to put the data pike out. Yeah, we'll just ice. I think click for money. Don't want to start a remote yet in case of bank job, but I do want to cover my centrals. If he sneak doors, it's fine. He's kind of wasting his money on sneak door at this point. There's nothing in here for him. Desperado, nice. Good start. Gonna get to knock $2 out of him. ETR. Starting to see more Gabe lately, probably against Near Earth Hub. But I like playing against Gabe because if you can bunker down, you'll eventually just beat him. Because we're running out of gas. Unfortunately, we can't res the Caduceus. If he'd run here first, he could possibly have done so. If we got money from the trace. But it's okay. Doesn't hit anything. We're only playing 9 agendas, so normally they won't hit early on. Let's definitely not get siphoned this game. Put 2 ice, and I won't res this one. Res the pike again if he runs it. Probably just take next turn clicking for money. Try to get into a more stable position. Maybe get an oversight for this Hadrian's would be pretty good. Definitely can't rush into scoring against Gabe. Yeah, there's another glitch in Octagon, yet another one where it doesn't show when you manually adjust your credits. Just gonna manually do it. So if he checks here, we can tax him pretty hard. I love playing Caduceus against the zero link runners. It's very satisfying. Probably one of the best ice you can play against a zero ice runner. There's the sneak door. So we could have put an ice here, but it wouldn't really have helped us. We can't res an archives ice and the ice here. And now we know he has sneak door. So no shutdowns will occur because nothing's resed. Sneak doors again, sure. Sees the Lotus, so depending if what he's running for a code gate breaker, the Lotus could be amazing. If he's playing like Passport, then it's pretty nasty to put this in the remote and just lock him out. Sees my ice. So he's made back his money on sneak door, but he hasn't actually got anything. There is an agenda, which is kind of awkward. I mean, he probably would just run 4 times and probably would take it. But if we just install it and click for money, we're also out of luck. So I think we just click for money and let him come at it. If we play a card out, it doesn't really help us, and he can it just makes him 1 in 4 to hit instead of 1 in 5. Here he might sneak door once, and then, or maybe he'll draw. He'll go once for sure, but he probably won't spend his whole turn poking around knowing that there's 2 ice in here. And once I play it have $15, I can afford to res both HQ and the archives. And there's an argument to be made that I should put the first ice on archives and just let him plunder R&D. It would have given away this agenda, which is not ideal. I'm going to res this because he might have shut down, but we're still going to get a good tax off on him. He probably has to pay 3 here to deny us the money. Yeah. And then he'll probably pay 2 here because he gets 1 back for his access. So we actually could put the Caduceus on the archives now. It does get an Atlas. It's a shame. So we have to bounce this so we can afford to play Restructure. Click, play Restructure, and I think we want to guard the archives. And so he doesn't get his Gabe money. Bit of a rough start, not seeing any oversights or any hedges, but I think we're still okay unless he scores again, in which case we'll be in a bit of trouble. Oh boy, 2 Atlas, those are the ones we want. So our ice curve is a little bit high if we don't see any oversights. We might want a few more smaller ice, but then the problem is that they're not any good later on when you just need some big taxing thing. Well, with the interns, we're going to be able to get our Jackson back if we need it. There's a hedge fund. That's actually great. Let's play the Lotus here. And we could get the Jackson out next turn. Could play the Ash out. Don't think that's great. I think we want the Ash to the remote. Though it's going to be a few more turns before we can really get a remote going. But you can kind of see like now he has no board position whatsoever. His only econ is a Desperado. He's going to have to sit back now and try to stabilize his economy. Not super crazy about the Hadrian's Wall. It is expensive, but also expensive for me. Okay, this is good. I'll play the Hive, play the Ash, click for credit, and I'm hoping he inside jobs here. Then we can interns the Ash back again, and we can then start working the corporate war. If he does nothing, we probably just push the corporate war out. Though it's still pretty soft inside job. Which he's probably running 3 of. I'd like another ice. But if we can bait the inside job here, I'd feel better about, you know, doing with 1 ice later. He may figure it's just like a Jackson, doesn't need to run. Just kind of hate to put the Hadrians out here. Put sneak door, okay. Well, unfortunately, he's got a good chance this corporate war. Because we kind of reduced our hand size. This is a smart move by him. He is thinking it's an Ash maybe and going for the HQ in order to pick the agenda off before we can install it. Does he hit it? He does not. Alrighty, well, if we can score this, we'll be in a pretty decent spot. Best draw is definitely Ice Wall right now. For here, Caduceus is also fine. Data Pike's fine as well. Let's no-res this guy, and then we'll res Data Pike and knock some more credits out of him. Gonna continue, yep. It's Data Pike. Brings him to $2. Now he's discarding a card. Curtain wall. Alright, we're just going to push this out. This is definitely a scoring window with the attacks we've put on him with the Data Pike and the Caduceus. He'll be hard pressed to take this one. Like, click for money twice, inside job. Doesn't quite get there. Data sucker, sure. Just gonna poke here, and we're gonna let him in for an access. We don't want to pay 5 for the Lotus Field. He probably just runs 3 times. It's gonna get like a get his counters loaded up to do a Parasite, perhaps. So the question is, what do we bounce in order to get our money for the corporate war? We can bounce the Caduceus, but then we get sneak doored. I think we bounced a Data Pike. It's both the smallest strength, so it could die more to Parasite, and there's also going to be an ice here existing. That's a good draw. So we score corporate war, gain $7, and now we're sitting pretty. Here's the ferry. Well, pretty much irrelevant. I mean, he can burn it to sneak door me if he thinks that's good. I don't think it really is. Blind Siphon. Well, the Hive shuts that off. Okay, so you can get his breaker, try to same old siphon or something. NAPD. Not really fond of that, actually. We could maybe score that. But do we want to? Not really, right? No, we don't really want to score that. I think ever. Parasite comes down there. Sure, yep. Doesn't have quite enough tokens. Whoa, what are you doing here? What? Yeah. I think he just miscounted the number of tokens he had. Yeah, he's was clearly thinking he had enough tokens to just snipe the Caduceus. Is he thinking, or is he kind of just... I don't know. It can be pretty frustrating as Gabe to play this matchup because you start out scoring some points maybe, and then you just like grind to a halt. Okay, he's just gonna play on. So there's no undo feature on Octagon, just like a button you press it and undoes whatever just happened. That would come in handy a fair number of times. Yep, he's gonna just break with Fairy, which is fine. Happy for him to use it this time, and get out of the way. So we're really kind of hurting for economy. I feel like I want one more economy spot. Maybe Errand Boy would be okay. Like, probably just does die to Parasite, and like everybody's playing Parasite now. So, I mean, besides the early on game where maybe they face check it and you draw some cards and get some money, it's just got Parasite bait written on it. But at the same time, there's a finite supply of Parasites for any runner, especially for Shaper. Actually, especially for Criminal even more so. So if you can make them Parasite those, then the highs might live a little longer. So now we can just bounce this, and really tragic for him. I would let him undo it if he wanted to. So we'll just put the data pike here. put the ice out in front. I guess we'll start the NAPD, so you got two of them. And he could steal them. I don't really want him to be on game point. Beyond the prior X that were already a problem. Like for economy, it's pretty tough because there's not a lot of good options. Like I'm running one private contract, so I don't like it that much. Same with one subliminal. If you notice, he's run every turn. He kind of has to as Gabe, and really most criminals are going to run every turn. So that's not a great card either for this matchup. With the amount of unresed ice, it doesn't hurt them that much to just face check things and see what's there. Especially when they have some breakers, they can just pay through the caduceus, they can whatever. More data suckers, so it's going to be parasites all day. This Lotus, we have to res it, because he could win off prior rec at any time, which would be quite depressing. There's 2 and 31, so there's not a big chance of it happening, but it could. Toll booth, okay. We actually can replace the Lotus with toll booth in the near future. Let's just click for money and get this NAPD out the door. Love to score a Prorec for the third agenda instead of having to go 4 agendas. It's probably what we'll have to do because he's already taken 2 Atlas. So going like 4-2, 4-2 and then Atlases is not going to happen. Not too sure in the interns. On one hand, it is good when they Parasite ice that was still relevant. You can just bring it back on the outside of the server and not pay your install cost. That's not bad, but on the other hand, it sits in your hand for a long, long time before it does anything. So I'm not in a huge rush to score this NAPD. I will just advance it a couple more times. Yeah, click for money again. Next turn I can double advance, install Adonis. And then the hive will be basically worthless. Though it's still an ETR, so not totally. He's not been ricking up. He hasn't really been drawing much, actually. He's 34 cards. Yeah. Not deep in his stack at all. This is a really fun card for Blue Sun because it's just very tough for them. They have to come kill it, otherwise you get $3 a turn forever, but the remote is pretty taxing most of the time. So I think we bounce this hive. It's about to be not as good, not very useful. Yeah, it is looking bad for him. However, this is not a 3-pointer, it's just an NAPD, so he's lucky there. We throw out the hive because it's only got 1 sub, and he's got his corroder. And now we have enough money to res both of these ice. Next turn we'll install Jackson, double draw, pitch our NAPD, and hopefully get a card that we want, like the Pyrrec. Or an Oversight would be still fine at this point. So yeah, it's kind of a slow stranglehold against Gabe. Here comes the inside job. And Let's think. He's gonna have $3. So we can make him trash the Ash or let him trash the Adonis instead. If he trashes the Adonis, it's fine. He can come right on in. I don't want to spend 2 on the Ash when he can just... there's $3 either way. He's going to have to pay. And we have interns. Does trash the Adonis. He cries tiny tears. So Order and Chaos, we can probably talk a little bit about that set. It's now Resident Octagon. It's going to be really interesting. This only costs him 2. Is this worth keeping here? Probably not. There's another curtain. I'll put this here. Put the Lotus over here. Should be pretty safe. There's a couple ice that are not bad for this deck. Probably the main one is Wormhole. A 7 strength Code Gate is nothing to sneeze at. It's not going to die to Parasite. You can res it for a full 9, or you can pay less by advancing it. Advancing it is probably not something we're going to do too often. Because then if you bounce it, you only get back the reduced cost, which is not very fun. So you just pay 9 for this 7 strength Code Gate ETR. And it's like a toll booth concept. Or like a big Lotus Field, really. Yeah, we have to res this. It just ETRs because he only has $2. We have 10 for our Hadrians if needed. So yeah, I could see playing like 1 Wormhole, and then maybe even the toll booth would be cut. No res here. And then this is going to ETR. So we actually don't have that much money if you think about it all considered. So it's... There's an ice wall, that's decent. Let's try to find some money. There's the Pryrac. I don't hate that. So let's play the second Ash. Having an Ash in HQ is fine against Gabe. Throw out the Hive, obviously. I think the Hadrians and the Curtain are both not needed. These small ice are pretty good. I can use them for inside job protection. So this turn we're a little vulnerable. If he inside jobs the Curtain wall, or the Hadrian's wall, he can shut down one of these 2 ice, and then we're pretty sad. Because we haven't seen a lot of money this game. Didn't get our Adonis rolling after all. Now we could interns it, but I think I wanted to try to close the game out before that happens, or... I should have pitched the NAPD. There's not really any reason not to. Like, even if you would have played like the Shard somehow, we don't really care. Did you do same old sure gamble? Yikes, that's pretty desperate. Alright, let's get our $10 back. Another one of these. Okay, let's double draw. There's an Oversight. Long awaited Oversight, and in front of it we'll put the Data Pike, which should stop him from trying to kill it. Pitch the NAPD and pitch the NAPD. So we can install double advance next turn with the Prirec. This is the saddest thing. Hades Shard, so clever. NAPD. Also NAPD. Oh, that was a $7 gone to waste. That is backbreaking. Hades Shard, pay 7, see NAPDs. NAPD is a disgusting agenda. Like, it really just... it crushes souls. Yeah, this is the classic Parasite Gabe we've seen in... I've played it as well. There was an article on it. Pretty popular. Has that 1F shard. And... oof. Can be played around. So if he had more money, I would actually have shuffled before his turn. Let's bounce this back. Let's draw another oversight. Data pike. You know what? Not much can go wrong here. NAPD, oversight. I could wait another turn, but I'm just gonna put him in his misery, I think. Let's throw out the Hadrians. I could probably put the Atlas in Archives. There's an Ash here, so it's okay. So this is really where you regret playing Gabe, because if you're Andy, you have these 4 extra cards and you just get your rig up that much faster. Code gates have been destroying him the entire game. And it's just because he can't find a decoder, but there's not that much draw in faction. You're relying on special order to draw a special order in the first place, which is also tricky. And there it is, but it's too slow. So this is why we did play aggressively, because you don't want to give the opponent time to actually find answers. But it's passport, so Lowe's field was probably fine. He would need inside job to get past this. So we're running 3 Ash. I don't know if 3 Ash is really needed. Maybe 2 is enough. The influence is just tough. And we just score this out and end the game. Yeah, the Hades shard was backbreaking. He needed those $7 to do runs or something, whatever he needed to do. A bit of a dicey draw. I feel like our ice maybe cost a little bit too much overall, so you ought to adjust a little bit, but I don't know, it was okay. Maybe an errand boy would be fine. I don't know. I like the deck though, it's fun. It feels pretty safe a lot of the time, especially once you've got set up. The oversights are either amazing or they get shut down, but even if the runner denies them, it usually costs a lot for them to do so. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys.